Hello, OLV Nursery classes. My name is Miss Kathy. I work at the Floral Park Public Library. I have a story that I would like to share with you today about the first Thanksgiving. Now, I know that you have been learning about the first Thanksgiving in your classroom, and I have this story, Pete the Cat, the first Thanksgiving, and it's written and illustrated by Kimberly and James Dean. Let's see what Pete the Cat has to say about the first Thanksgiving. Pete was nervous about being a pilgrim in his class's Thanksgiving play, the first Thanksgiving. Just do your best, his friend Callie said. Pete said he would try. He was ready. His mom had even made him a pilgrim hat, which was really cool. You see the hat? And there's Pete the Cat and his best friend Callie. She gave him some very good advice, right? She said, just do your best. Pete took his place at the front of the giant ship that his class had made out of cardboard. Pete was a pilgrim on the Mayflower. The Mayflower, the ship that brought the pilgrims to the New World. In 1620, a group of pilgrims decided to leave England for the New World to build a new life. It was a long, long trip on a big, big ship, all the pilgrims cried. But it was a long and dangerous trip, and lots of the pilgrims got sick from being on the rough seas. The dream of a new start in a new world made the hard trip all worth it. For more than 2 months, the pilgrims were on the ship. Look at the calendar. They were on the ship September, October, and even a part of November. Oh my goodness, they were beginning to think they would never get there. After 65 days on the ship, land was spotted. Land ho, cried Pete, and all the pilgrims did a happy dance. I bet they did. They probably couldn't wait to get off that ship. The pilgrims arrived in the New World at Plymouth Rock in what is now Massachusetts. Everyone had many chores to do, like growing food, finding water, and building shelters. The first winter in the New World was long and hard. And when the spring came, the pilgrims had to decide whether to give up and go back to England or to keep trying. The pilgrims had heard about the Native Americans, and many worried that they would not be friendly. Well, you know what? Pete the Cat had never met a cat he didn't like, so he thought they would be kind. And there's Pete the Cat with the chief of the Native American tribe that helped them. What's his name? You're right, Squanto. Pete made a new friend in Squanto. He and the other Native Americans showed the pilgrims how to grow crops like corn, beans, and squash. And by the time the summer arrived, the Pilgrims had learned how to farm the land. By fall harvest, the Pilgrims had plenty of food. To thank Squanto and the other Native Americans, the Pilgrims invited them to share the harvest. Look at all the food. Corn and turkey and squash and fish and green beans. The celebration became known as the first Thanksgiving. Pete was relieved when the play was over. He had remembered all his lines. Wow, I never thought about how hard it was back then, said Pete, as he and his friend took a bow after their play. Later, at Thanksgiving dinner with his family, Pete said, "Let's all go around the table and say something we are thankful for." That's a nice tradition, isn't it? "I'm thankful for my family," said Pete's mom. "I'm thankful for my skateboard," said Bob. "What are you thankful for, Pete?" "I'm thankful for the brave Pilgrims that started this new free world," said Pete. The end. Well, this book made me start thinking about all the things that I'm thankful for. And today I'm thankful that Mrs. Dodson asked me to read a story to you. I'm thankful for Our Lady of Victory School. All of my children went there and they got a wonderful education. I'm thankful for Our Lady of Victory Church, where I go to Mass every Sunday, and I go on holy days of obligation to thank God for all the things He's given to me. So, I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. And I will be back next week to read another story to you. Bye, OLV Nursery. Have a wonderful day.